KFAN.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charge the housewives like no one can. What you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
We didn't lose because of the play call. We didn't lose because we chose to run the ball. We didn't lose because of anything. We didn't lose because of the zebras. We lost because we didn't make one more play. If we made one more play, including the last play of the game, we win the game. But we didn't win the game. Because why? Because we chose to run the ball, not throw it, because some yahoo wants me to throw the effing ball. We lost because we didn't make one more play. When Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
Straight up. Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, 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 cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Lucky? Yeah, Rosie. Brilliant!
Genius. Idiot. Moron. Imbecile. What a Morris.
I'm a fraud.
Yes. Well, he's a fraud, but I am.
He's the clown from Brown.
Yep.
He's the fourth in the north.
You are correct.
This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Ack-ack-a-dack and dack-dack-act you and yours. Your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. If you're expecting a poised, polished, and professional talk show host, you've come to the wrong place, noon to 3. That starts at 3 o'clock. What you're going to get for the next 3 hours if you hang for all three of it. It doesn't matter if you stay for a segment or all 9 or somewhere in between. You're going to get uninformed, unprepared, and unrepentant. Unrepentant. Speaking of repent or perish, went to Ash Wednesday services last night at King of Kings Lutheran, my hometown church. Pastor John Larson. If there's a better person at his job than John, I've not met him or heard him. He is simply brilliant, a very inspirational service last night. And the Ash Wednesday thing, you've seen Abbott with the ashes on your forehead, right? I'd never had that done before. They offered it up, and I said there's a first time for everything. So I did, and as I was walking out of the church, the wind blew. Something got in my eye. It might have been ashes to ashes or maybe a dust to dust. Something got lodged in my eye. It was like that all night long. All night long.
All night. All night.
Can you do the falsetto version of that?
All night long. All night.
Lionel Richie. I love when did they do this year at the Pebble Beach tournament? Because apparently Lionel Richie has a house on Pebble Beach. And 2 years ago, They must have mentioned it like 13, 14 different times because they'd get to that hole and Lionel Richie's house is
Was that Pebble Beach or was that the Los Angeles Country Club?
That's exactly what it was.
Because wasn't Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion there as well?
I think you're right. And they mentioned like every single time they'd show the hole, he goes, that's where Lionel Richie lives. Music has been very, very good to Lionel Richie. I thought my eye was, and I tried to flush it out with water. I didn't have any eye drops. So, and then I even took it's 2:00 in the morning and I'm in the shower, prying my eye open, letting water rinse through it. I could barely fall asleep. Because when you have something in your eye and the way it just scratches.
It's awful.
And I woke up this morning, gone. But then I took a closer look in my eye and there's a little white, looks like a pimple on the bottom of inside of my bottom part of my eyelid, right? So I Google it thinking it's going to say you have eye cancer and you're going to go blind. It said it might be, I don't remember what it called it, but it said it usually goes away by itself. You've got a little infection in there, don't worry about it. It's a sty, is what they said. So they said, don't worry about it. But my kids and my wife get really annoyed with me. Well, so do you, and so do a lot of other people. But because anytime I have any little malady, I jump to the worst possible conclusion.
Yeah.
I'm about to die.
Yeah.
This is it. Something's about to happen. There was a time I thought I had African sleeping sickness. And you can't get African sleeping sickness unless you're bitten by a tsetse fly. How about measles? Are you worried about the measles outbreak?
I'm assuming everyone in my family is vaccinated with it. But.
I texted your guy, Dr. Doug. There's two things I owe I owe you a debt of gratitude for. Number one is how to peel a banana the proper way from the bottom. And the other is connecting me with Dr. Doug. Anytime I have an infectious disease type of question, I text him. He immediately gets back to me. Plus, he sent me a picture. He played the Wynn golf course in Vegas. Did he tell you that?
He always sends me pictures of everywhere he's playing.
Playing the Wynn. The infectious disease business is good. That's a pretty pricey golf course, but it's pretty cool, right? Anyway, he got back to me right away. I could be in the danger zone was that a John Cougar Mellencamp song? Or was that a Tom Petty song? Danger Zone. You know what I think it was? I think it might have been
Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, I knew it was. I was just trying to have fun. Yeah. The Danger Zone. Anyway, because there's a measles outbreak going down in Texas, right? And at one time, I think I read that someone just said, are you sure you don't have a plastic Chad in your eye? Because that's what we think happened with Doc Donaldson. He says that he drank that coffee that one day and he swallowed the piece of plastic and they can't find it. And it's still in his throat all the time. Several people did the Doc Donaldson thing. Something lodged in your body. It's amazing that people get the bit, even bits that have been around for years and years and years, because that's an old bit now. Doc Donaldson first sprung that on us, 10, 12 years ago?
It's been a while.
It's been a long time that he's
had
that.
It still has not been resolved.
No, and it still is not. And I keep telling him, I'm telling you, try the hypnotism. It worked for my dad, my stepmom. My dad was a 2-pack-a-day smoker for decades, walked into the hypnotist's office, walked out, and never smoked another cigarette. Now, maybe it was just mind over matter, but they never smoked again. Why won't he try it? And what do you have to lose at this point? It's either that or, like I recommended to him, go inside one of those tanning booths, crank it to crush on 11 and see if it melts it in his throat. Otherwise, why wouldn't you try that?
By the way, since the Doc Donaldson Chad incident, every time you eat now, like I've had times where like you're having popcorn at the movie theater, all of a sudden a kernel gets stuck back there, and I started thinking doomsday, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be stuck in my throat for the rest of eternity.
Yes!
Because it's in there for like 3-4 minutes, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get this thing to move.
Just like I thought there was something in my eye that was never going to go away. I tried to cry about it last night, only hoping that if I cried, tears would run
tears to come out.
So you know what I even did? I'm not making this up. My wife had an onion that she'd used half or something, and she had the rest in a plastic bag. You think I'm making this up? At 2:00 in the morning, I'm breathing in an onion, hoping that it would get me to cry.
So if my wife, she doesn't do the onion. She just says, think about your career path right now. And I just start bawling.
That would be that's definitely something worth crying over, right? Wow. What was I talking about?
Hanging Chad. You love Dr. Doug.
Oh, so the measles thing. Well, the measles thing. Apparently, because he said, well, do you have a record of, he said, most people don't have a record of the immunization, do you? I said, my mom did. She'd kept mine, but it wasn't for measles. It was for diphtheria, whooping cough, and some other one, right? So he said, the measles vaccine wasn't approved until 1963. So unless my mom, and I would hope my mom would, I mean, at that point, I'm 5 years old. Did she have us go in for the measles vaccine? She's dead. I can't ask her. I don't know. And then I heard that the measles vaccine from 63 to 68 really wasn't that good. And here's the crazy thing. Dr. Doug knew all this. He's telling me all this. And then I do the old Grok AI and everything. I think Dr. Doug works for Grok AI. I think he is Grok AI.
He's a genius.
So now I'm wondering, he also said he doesn't anticipate there to be a nationwide measles epidemic. But now I got that to worry about, along with a sty in my eye, and I think I've got African sleeping sickness. I have all sorts of problems. I also got the hockey bug. You know what we're going to do? Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament is, right now, Stilley really taking it to Andover, the 3 seed leading 3-0 with about a little over halfway through the second period. We had 2 other results. Hibbing advanced and East Grand Forks, right, Tennessee?
Last night, yes.
Last night. This is the first. We're going to do some live listenings. We're going to critique Zacco. And funny, supposed to be, I would have had Tennessee on the analysis, but apparently not. It wasn't Tennessee. Who was analyzing with him today, or is he solo? Do you know?
No, he has an analyst. It's a guy that he has used quite a bit.
And I'm sure he's fine. I'm not ripping him.
Danny Ryan. He's used him a lot for high school hockey broadcasts on the Fan.
And I'm delighted for Danny Ryan. I am. But, again, they don't use me for... I think maybe your best work as a play-by-play guy is when you called my hole-in-one. Up at Minnesota National. You did a terrific job there.
We're live streaming that one.
It was so much fun. We'll take a break. We'll come back. And we'll talk a little distat lat here on the Fan. Metallica, Barry Manilow, and others.
Welcome to the perfect night, Minneapolis. Simple Plan is coming to the Armory August 19th with special guests Bowling for Soup, 303, and Lolo. Don't miss out on a night of nostalgic early 2000s anthems. Tickets are on sale now. Get all the details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
My favorite Lolo song is Lola. L-O-L-A, Lola, just like cherry cola. Couple 13-14 past. I'm common. He's Tennessee. People are telling me I should put baby shampoo in my eye to get rid of the sty. I think people are just trying to get me going.
I would.
I think they're trying to get me going. Someone said I should use a pliers and pull it out. What do you think? Think I should just take a little pliers? Of course, you'd have to get a needle nose to do it, right? Because a regular pliers is just going to be too... I might pull out my entire eye. He killed his father and married his mother. That's from Oedipus Rex, in case you were wondering. I got a little bit of culture to me. I should probably get a culture, see if anything is wrong with my eye. Anyway, time now for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by... Stilley again.
It's raining goals.
Yeah, it is. I can see why Stilley's number 2. They're beating Andy. Stilley leading Andy 4-0, 3 minutes to go in the second. And again, it's...
We haven't really had a great game yet.
No.
It's game number 5.
You never say never, but it's going to be, my guess is there's a reason Stilley's number 2 and over 7. Be hard to come back from a 4-0 deficit with only a little over a period to go. So what's the next game?
The next game is the 3-6. What is that? That is That's not the Edina game. It's not the Moorhead game. That is the...
Abbott's Maddie thought I should have asked you before we got
speaking of Abbott, St. Thomas Academy versus Shakopee.
Yeah, St. Thomas against Shakopee. I don't know if those teams don't like each other. My guess is they've never played before, but I don't know that. A lot of these schools, I don't think ever, you would have to tell me, Tenneby. I think most of the times you play teams that are in your conference, right? You probably have some non-conference tilts, but I'm not sure how it works in hockey. I know in basketball, we would always play, when Baby Brother Peter played, we'd play your Lakeville North or South, or we'd match up against YZ or something, but most of it was conference play. So a lot of times you'd play teams. Matter of fact,
I'd say maybe like 60% of it's conference, the rest is non-conference.
Well, for instance, like Eastridge is going to play Tartan in the section semifinals on Saturday, and Tartan is in the same section as Eastridge, but they're not in the same conference. So when they play, the only time they do play is and Tartan knocked Eastridge out of the postseason last year in the semifinals. So they play again on Saturday. Baby Brother Peter's in town. We're thinking of making an appearance. You know what they did? You know what they changed in high school basketball too?
Above average.
It used to be section championship was neutral site. Not anymore. Got to go over to Jerry's World if you win, because I would think Cretin-Durham Hall, they're number 1 in the state. I'm sure they'll get through. I shouldn't say I'm sure, but chances are they will advance to the section championship. So if Eastridge were
Why'd they change that?
I don't know. Maybe it was because the other schools were like, we don't want to open up and host this thing and have our, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta be open, and then you got to staff it and all that. And so maybe they just decided. That would be my guess. I mean, wouldn't you think? Because
someone's got to staff it somewhere.
Yeah, but why would Hastings want to staff it? Why would Hastings want to spend the money hosting it? Having their school staff and their janitorial staff cleaning up afterwards. It was like, we're not in your section. Go play over somewhere else. That's my assumption. You don't think that's you don't think
I only know the hockey side of things. So I'm sure basketball. Basketball. You have so many basketball courts that I'm sure are all seating on both sides and can fit enough people. Hockey rinks, like when you get to section finals, you want it to be a big enough venue to fill as many people in there as possible because you're making money off of it. So,
well, all I know is they don't do neutral site anymore. So that's not going to be the case. So, Peek at the Purple, as mentioned, brought to you by Affordable Electric. They're your old house specialists. They know all about old home wiring. There can be issues with it. So if you'd like to have an inspection, have Nick and his crew from Affordable Electric. They'll come over. They're easy to get a hold of. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. You sent me the tweet today you sent me a screenshot of the tweet from Pelissero. Theo Jackson resigns with the Purple. Is that a big piece of news? I mean,
ladies and gentlemen,
Theo Jackson.
We got him.
We drafted him, right? 2022 pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You know me, Tenneby. These are the kinds of things that I really sink my teeth into, the minutia of sports. Rosters and years of experience, where they went to school and all their sabermetrics and analytics. It's what I live for when it comes to sports.
Well, he's drafted by the Titans.
Oh, he was? Okay.
In the 2022 draft in the 6th round.
So the Titans. So he's never played for the Purple.
But
I thought he was already
No, he has.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
On October 11th, 2022, he was signed off the Titans practice squad by the Vikings, who were in need of safety depth after a season-ending injury to Lewis Seen.
There we go. So Theo, is he kind of an unknown quantity? I mean, it's, maybe this will be his big break. Maybe he'll get some.
I've heard they like him.
Okay,
and he's had some moments, but obviously with Cam Bynum potentially leaving, with Harrison Smith potentially retiring. At the very least, he's depth for those guys, or maybe he slides into more of a bigger role if one or two of those guys leaves.
I'm not familiar with Cam Bynum.
Cam Beasy.
That's who you're talking about, Cam Beasy. It ain't easy being Cam Beasy, but he is Cam Beasy. So there's your basic. Is there any more Purple? I mean, it's kind of quiet right now as it was Chai's Day on, was it Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, regardless of what day it was Chai's Day. And now free agency starts, is it next week? Is that correct? There's the tampering period where you can talk to guys for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden you can sign. And I would think the Vikings would be as busy as anybody.
Legal tampering begins Monday. Officially, they become official on Wednesday. Free agency.
So by the time Wednesday rolls around, we will obviously begin to know about the purple. And not everybody signs on Wednesday, right? Sometimes teams and guys can negotiate. There might be several offers, but I think next week, obviously, the dominoes will fall. And I would expect them to be. I don't think this is a stretch. The Vikings will be as busy as anybody because we know their draft pick situation is not ideal right now. They got plenty of money under the cap. They need help. The Vikings are always careful not to single out players. They don't go, we really need to replace Joe Bag of Donuts. But if you remember at that season-ending news conference, the head coach of the Vikings, the quarterback whisperer, made no bones about improving the interior of the offensive line. Whether they would like to replace the center and the two guards, just the two guards, the center and a guard, or all three, there's certainly, I expect, movement at that position. And then, we had the numbers yesterday. Rosen laid them out. They've been out there for a while. He probably got them from Lieber. The Vikings interior, while they're pretty good against the run, they don't put a lot of pressure on a quarterback, and they'd like to maybe make a change there. And then, as you just said with the defensive backs, we don't know. Cam Beasley, will he stay or will he go? And the hitman might retire, so there's a lot of unknowns there. But obviously, we'll know a lot more next week. By the way, in case you're wondering, and I know that you were, Peek at the Purple was brought to you by Affordable Electric. They're your old home specialists. They know old wiring. They're very familiar with knob and tube, which I am as well. Cloth covered wiring, aluminum and older fuse boxes. They understand the limitations and potential safety hazards here. Let Nick and his crew inspect your old home, his electrical system. If it needs, if repairs or replacements are warranted for your safety, they'll take care of them for you. They're your old home specialists, Affordable Electric. Affordable-Electric. They are shockingly affordable. Short break. Got some controversial PST information we've heard from Draymond Green. We'll have that for you next here on The Fan.
Wild Wednesday is sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
And I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to give away a pair of tickets on a Thursday for Wild Wednesday. That's only because of my incompetence. We were supposed to give away, and we've nailed it on every Wednesday. Wild Wednesday brought to you by Jim Beam, official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. We do it every Wednesday. I'm Johnny on the spot and have never missed a Wednesday, and then I spaced it out yesterday. Tenneby made the executive decision. He's the producer of the show, and late in the show, with the haunting strains of what music do we play at the very end of the show again? The Lawrence Welk, Adios, Peter Zane.
Yeah.
It's playing the haunting strains, and I go, should we give them away now? And you go, we've closed out, Common.
I already logged out of the computer. Yeah,
we've logged out, logged on. Tuned in, turned on, dropped out, as Ken Kesey once said, the electric acid Kool-Aid test. And so we did? We said, we'll just move it to today. We make the rules. It's like Steely Dan once sung, we lay down the rules and break them when Josie comes home. And when Jim Beam comes home. So I think those are the words. The lyrics might not be exactly, but it's something to that effect. We're between periods at Hippodrome. Is it 4-0 Stilly? Is that what the score is? They didn't add anything on, or did it?
Last I checked, it was 4-0.
I think it was 4-0 Stilly leading Andy. And we do want to do a live. We're going to listen to a little of Zacco before the program is over. And we like to do live listenings. And the beauty of it is it's our broadcast. So we could air the whole thing if we wanted to. It's on the KFAN Plus.
And when we do live listen-ins, it's presented by the 2026 IIF World Junior Championship.
Oh, seriously? What is that? Do you know what the II...
That's the World Juniors.
It's the World Juniors.
Yeah, it's
big time?
It's coming to Minneapolis, or I should say St. Paul, next winter. It's never been here before.
Wow. So World Junior, can you tell me, I mean, what does that entail? What ages? And is that from all
it's like
over
under 20.
Under 20.
So it's every country represented. The USA has won the last, I think, 2 years in a row now.
High school kids are obviously playing. How do they make
it's mostly, some college kids, kids that play juniors.
I say, okay. How do you get selected?
I think they're 20 and under.
How do you get selected to that team? You got to be good, obviously.
Well, yeah,
But is it a selection process?
Yeah, who's ever in charge of it? They're selecting their own roster.
Do they, are you part of that roster making decision process? You should be.
I'd like to be.
You got a great hockey mind.
Yeah. Or if they need a coach next year, I can take over.
Yeah, there's no question about that. You know your X's and O's. Do they call it? I know in football they call it X's and O's. Do they do that?
Sure. I use X's and O's on the chalkboard.
I played so long ago. I think I've talked about this before. They used to do, I don't know if it was called a mimeograph or whatever, but this is how we printed out our plays back when I was playing 4th, 5th, and 6th grade Coon Rapids Athletic Association. A lot of people don't realize this, but I was a fierce pass rushing, rocket Gibraltar, run-stopping defensive lineman, precise route running, short and pass catching tight end. It would be, you would print it on some kind of machine and the ink was blue and it smelled like paste for a while and the paper would come out kind of wet because they were using some kind of a print and you'd have to wait for it to dry. That's how we got our playbook. So our playbook would come and it would be all these just typing paper with the coach had drawn out the play and then he copied it because I don't even think we had copying machines back then. We had some kind of a printing machine of some sort that came out with blue print and it smelled like paste. And then it would dry and it would be cool. That's how long ago it was. Speaking of that, speaking of football, how about this, Tenneby? So the folks from Aquarius came over to my house today to check my because did I tell you I'm renting a water softener? Because I don't know how long I'm going to be in my house. And when I do sell, the only real estate agent I would use would be Josh Pomerlow and the Pomerlow team at JP Willman Realty, Matt Healy and Company. But I didn't want to buy one because they're rather expensive, and so I'm just renting one, right? So when Aquarius, I have to do the 6-month checkup on it, right? They change the filter and do that. So they always send me a text of, hey, the tech is on his way. And in addition to that, they give you, I kind of think this is a nice touch. They, give me 1 second and I'll show it for you. They always send you, kind of a bio, a brief bio on who's coming over to do the work. And Andre was the guy that came over today, right? And it says, hi, your technician Andre from Aquarius is on the way. Andre is very easy to talk to. His favorite sports team is the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
So what do you think he did when he walked in? I had my Lions sweatshirt on. I hope he doesn't get in trouble for this. We spent more time talking Lions football than it took him to do the work. And Tenneby, who do you think dominated the conversation?
I have a guess.
Well, I
think it may have been you.
You're right. How did you know?
That's right.
That's right. I started telling him about the history of the Kitties. He didn't know all of it. You know how he became a fan? He's from this area. He loved Stafford and Megatron. He loved Megatron.
Sure.
So as a kid, he kind of glommed onto the Kitties.
They got cool uniforms.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I was regaling him in all the history of the Motor City Kitties and the Roar had been restored and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. So had a fellow Lions fan in the house over at my place. So PST, we crowned a champion, Draymond Green, yesterday. He is the 17th champion, not the 17th different champion, because Tommy Olson has won twice. Yeah. Otherwise, we've had a different champion every year. We always like to reach out to those new champions and see if they'll come on for a quick Q&A. You know, some have done it, including Charch. Gorg won it, right? No.
Yeah, Gorg's won before.
Gorg won it. Not with the one we really thought he was going to win for, but he did win. So we've had several champions come on.
You know who we forgot is Tony Hinchcliffe, who we didn't really know at the time.
Yeah.
He's kind of become a much bigger deal now. He was a part of the Tom Brady roast. He was one of the comedians that was roasting
really?
Tom Brady. Yeah, so his star has been shining since he won that preposterous statement tournament.
And what was his again?
He had like a 9/11 thing.
Yeah, that's not good. Well,
let me find out exactly, because Eric Tebow, former intern guy, who's just the best at finding old bits. And
right. Well, he found the audio for Charge Force, right?
Yeah, he also was the one that, if you remember I'm pulling my tickets. We lost it, and he found it over a montage, which is why you kind of hear music behind it now.
Okay.
I'm pulling my tickets.
Yeah.
So you can hear I think you can hear Sad Eyes behind it, but he at least isolated that, so we had that back, right? Like, he did great stuff like that. What am I looking for? Tony Hinchcliffe?
Yeah.
Oh, he said Ronda Rousey losing was like the World Trade Center's falling.
Yeah, I can see why he did well. Anyway, so we've not been able to get a hold of Draymond.
I just saw the second Tommy Olsen one. I remember the time.
Which one was it?
I remember the Mitch Leidner one.
Yeah.
But his other one was on Mo Ibrahim tearing his Achilles.
Oh, the
Quote,
best thing.
Career-wise, this is the best thing that could have happened.
You can't even make it up. How is Mo's pro career going right now?
I don't know if he has a job.
I think he's out of the league right now, but he was a hell of a running back for the Poiple, or for the Maroon and Gold. And he had a cup of coffee in the bigs. He was with Detroit for a while. I think he even got a few carries. But anyway, Draymond has not accepted our invite. I don't know if the committee. I don't know if Tenneby or the committee has reached out to him yet to see if he would appear on the program. But he caught wind of it and he released a statement, and I received it on an email this morning. Here it is.
First off, I want to thank the fine folks at KFAN and the Common Man Show for recognizing my commitment to truth-telling, even when the league doesn't want to hear it. When I said the NBA should be reimbursing me for all these fines, I wasn't joking. I was speaking facts. I'm out here boosting ratings, keeping the league relevant, and making sure every game has some real energy. That's a service, a tax write-off at the very least. Let's be real. When I speak, people listen. When I play, people watch. The NBA is profiting off of me, and all I get in return is another invoice from a league office. That's robbery. They should be cutting me a check for entertainment services rendered. And look, I don't have Mark Rosen money to just be throwing around at every fine they slap on me. I mean, sure, I've done all right for myself, but I'm not out here rolling in that legendary Minnesota broadcasting cash. So yeah, I'll accept this award, but I'll be expecting my reimbursement check in the mail any day now. Adam Silver, let's talk.
They all know Rosie, don't they?
They do, Minnesota broadcasting cash. So, yeah, I mean, and he has a point. I mean, because if you turn into a Draymond game, is it just to watch Steph knock down
Draymond
threes?
or Draymond?
I think it might be Draymond.
Okay.
Do you tune into a game just to see Steph knock down threes, to watch a little of this, a little of that with it? Or do you watch because who knows what Draymond might do? Draymond could go berserk again. And so I think he does obviously help. And what does the league do when he I mean, people want him to get a tech. You tune in going, I wonder if he gets a tech tonight. And he gets a tech and they fine him for it. They should be paying him for it, is what they should be doing. So then somebody else sent me, another listener sent me a link to, I can't remember, is it Spot Rack, Sport Track? What is it?
Spotrac?
Spotrac. And this was NBA contracts and salaries, right? And then it also included somewhere, I think it was the same. No, this one there was two of them he sent me. And the one was the list of the fines that Draymond has accrued. It's going to be, I lost track trying to add them all together. I mean, literally, this guy has been fined hundreds of times. Sometimes back to back to back to back. You talk about playing back to back games and having to travel, time zones, circadian rhythms. He's getting fined back to back to back to back games. The number is, where is it now? There's a number here. Okay. Here's what the story for CBS.Sports says. Draymond Green has made a lot of money playing pro basketball. Spotrac estimates he's made just under, now when was this story? This is about a year ago. This is when the preposterous statement first came out. When Draymond issued his preposterous statement, it was in May of last year. So this was in May of last year. Spotrac estimates that he made just under $178 million in salary as a member of the Golden State Warriors to date. But if you include the amount still owed to him on his current contract, that figure jumps to around $255 million. Then it lists his preposterous statement. This job is when you talk about as hard as we work to accumulate wealth coming from situations that most people never make it out of, it's actually not set up for us to be wealthy after we're done playing. There was more to that quote, though. It went on to say, this job is not set up the way we're taxed, the way we're fined. You hear about all these programs like this program, that bleep is to cover everybody else. This program is to teach this guy this. But if I do something wrong, I lose $100,000. Man, it took my mom 4 years when I was growing up to make $100,000. And I lose that in a night because what? The referee got mad at me and he didn't like what I said to him. So I lose $5,000 like that on a tech. Yeah. Because don't say it. Yeah, just don't say it. It says here, Spotrac lists every fine and suspension that a player faces in their career and includes the dollar amount that came with the discipline. It estimates that Green has been fined roughly $900,000 in his NBA career. And suspensions have cost him around $3.2 million, and that's a lot of money for most people. Still, it really shouldn't be preventing someone from accumulating wealth when their contracts are paying them a career total of $255 million. Then it goes on to say, well, we talked about Tenneby. In reality, Green has earned a good deal more. Star athlete, big market. It's only increased his profile through his media work. Aside from endorsement earnings, he's also well positioned to make money as an investor in the Bay Area's tech industry. And even when he retires, his image and that media work should continue to help him earn money. In short, the NBA has absolutely positioned Green to become and remain wealthy, which we all knew.
Yes.
CBS Sports felt a need to do a story to explain to people it's preposterous. But then, of course, there's the far simpler fact that most players do not get disciplined as often as Draymond Green does. The majority of players will go their entire careers without ever getting fined for anything aside from technical fouls, which carry a fixed and relatively small fine. $2,000 for the first 5 in a given season, 3 for the next 5, $4,000 for the next 5, $5,000 for all subsequent fines. Obviously, no player wants to pay thousands of dollars for subjective technical fouls, but the league minimum salary this season was $1.1 million. It's a relatively small piece of their pie. And it has to continue to go on to explain why Draymond Green is preposterous. And there it all is for you, Tenneby. But I mean, literally, he's been fined, as you say, $900,000 in suspensions. And most of the fines are the $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 variety. So think to get to $900,000, you have to look up the list. It's astonishing how long it is. It's as long as the Chicago phone directory. That's how big it is. And so, but anyways, Draymond has spoke out, and now we've got the word from him.
He's a worthy champion.
Yeah, worthy champion. Should we do a quick live listen-in with Zachy Halverson?
Sure. It's presented by the 2026 IIHF World Juniors.
And, of course, it's still leading Andover 4-0.
Oh,
find them online.
They just went to break.
Oh, they went to break?
Yeah.
Well, so we could double it up on commercials. I guess it doesn't matter. So we'll go back to that. By the way, has anybody seen Sauce's commercial yet? I bet you can find it online, can't you, or somewhere? Because I've not seen Sauce's. He's done a TV commercial for 7th Avenue Pizza. Where he's riding a Zamboni. And I don't know if the steering wheels, there's so many ideas they could have come up with. I'm just trying to, I'm hoping to catch a glimpse of it. Abbott claims it's true, so I don't know. I've not seen it. Have you seen the commercial
I haven't seen it during the tourney, but I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
I feel like he's posted on like social media.
You mean
I don't think I watched the whole thing.
You mean Oh, you mean like on his Twitter feed?
Sure.
You'd have to follow in order to get it. Yeah.
Which a good friend would do.
Yeah. Last I checked, I don't. I get enough of Meat Sauce when I work with him during comedy. I don't need to hear what he has to say about. Right now, he's going to dive deep. My guess is most of his, starting very shortly, almost all of his tweets are going to be. He's going to try to. It's the word I'm looking for. He's going to use his knowledge to enlighten us on the National Football League draft.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Well, that's it. I've told you this, right? Is this wrong for me to expose him for the fraud that he is? Because Rosen would always say, well, Meat Sauce says, and Meat Sauce, and it's like, Meat Sauce is just looking at all of the draft guides all of us have available to us. I did the bit years ago when you used to have to send away for the Mel Kiper draft guide. He was the first guy to do it. He is the godfather of the National Football League draft. You would send for it. You'd pay him like $10.99, $19.99, whatever it was, and they would send you in the mail this glossy covered, thick. Again, not as thick as not as thick as the Draymond Green fine portfolio, but it was real thick, and it would list like literally hundreds of players that were up for the draft, and it would do that basic, kind of like what we do with Purple Prey, right? Joe, bag of donuts, Penn State linebacker, 6'2", 268 pounds, and then it would, give some of the how many tackles he had in his career. Was he first team all conference, second team all conference, whatever? Just basically his bio. And then Kiper would rate them. And now that's become an industry. So Sauce gets that, and he looks at it. I can guarantee you Sauce isn't watching the Texas Longhorns take on the Texas A&M Aggies on a Saturday afternoon. He's over playing golf at the Golden Valley Golf and Country, or the club at Golden Valley. So you just read it and go, Vikings need a defensive or an offensive lineman. Well, here we go. Here's the top 5. I'm not going to go with the top guy because he's going to be gone. So I'll say I really like, then you pull a Rosen. I've had my eye on Brandon Molesky. No, really, this guy's really, really good. And then you read off a couple of stats.
You read that he's 6'5",
right,
330 pounds.
And that you saw him, and you saw him wreak havoc. You were watching the game that he had 3 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. You saw it, but you didn't see it. And then you're hoping to bamboozle your listening audience to go, wow, this guy knows his college football, man. He is an expert at it. I mastered the art of pretending I knew everything about the National Football League draft when I absolutely knew nothing about the National Football League draft. So don't be fooled.
Do you want to listen in quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pass out for Geisbauer, who will race after, but is beat to the puck by Pruitt, the Andover goaltender. Huskies up the ice again. It's Peterson. Backhanding it deep into the Stillwater zone. McGlynn. Liam McGlynn will work it for a moment. Takes a hit. Peterson, weak angle shot, and it's save made by Cal Conway, who has not lost a game yet this season and has not given up a goal through 2.5 periods.
It sounded like a classroom bell was ringing. What is it?
Danny?
That's a lot. He has been playing extremely well right now.
We'll go 40 minutes and 24 seconds of scoreless hockey so far.
That's good White Bear math right there.
Cal Conway worked really hard on that.
White Bear math joke, good.
Shot for the Ponies, and that's denied on the opposite end of the ice by Cash Pruitt. As trying to break through is Volkman. Puck comes free, right side, Fredenberg, shot save, rebound wide to the goal. Luka Jarvis, so snake bitten. He's has some great chances now. 3-on-2 for the Andover Huskies, and they fire a shot over the Stillwater cage. It bounces to the corner. Andover had it for a moment. They get it back. It's taken by Sauer.
Boy, Andy has had some point-blank opportunities, but the Stilly goalie has been Stilly's been stellar, right? Because he made some nice saves there, and so There you go. There's Zacho and Dan Ryan on the call.
That was presented by the 2026 IIHF World Junior Championships, which is coming to Minnesota.
You can hear, is it all of... How did the Stilly kid miss that? That was a wide open net on a rebound. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
All the games today will be on KFAN Plus.
Today and tomorrow.
And tomorrow. And then the championship games
Saturday
will be right here on KFAN. Sweet. So good for Zacho. He does a really good job, and we're happy with him. Could you volunteer to do some rinkside reporting?
If I was invited.
Think about that. At least I was invited to do weekend spinning hot stacks of wax from the top of the racks from Cool 108. I was summarily dismissed after a while, but I wasn't actually. You haven't even been invited.
No.
To get fired. Look you can't get fired until you get hired. You haven't even been hired for it yet. So.
I used to do the analyst work for that stuff, and I don't get the call anymore.
Isn't that funny? And they used to have me do weekend spinning hot stacks of wax from the top of the racks. And guess what? They told me my services were no longer needed. That's fine. Let's do this. Let's take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for 5, 3, 4, 10 a tease, please.
What do you think of time zone changes and back-to-backs now?